You know, sometimes I look at the seasons, and when they come to the close, I go, where did the time go? I mean, it just seems like a few weeks ago, it was November, and we're talking about all these meaningless non-conference college basketball games. And here we are months later, the championship game tonight in San Antonio. Well, I'm going to break down the game for the total and give you my thoughts for a free play, plus a free baseball selection for this Monday card. In terms of the featured play, well, listen, guys, no reason to go from what's been working. Chris Jordan, the half-price play of the day, once more, because once again, he has a 3,000-star triple-year wager released the 10th in his 35-year career in college basketball. It matches his 3,000-star triple-year wager winner on Villanova over Kansas in the Final Four on Saturday that you got for half price. Matches his 3,000-star triple-year wager winner on Villanova over Texas Tech 2 Sundays ago, on Loyola of Chicago over Kansas State 2 Saturdays ago, on Villanova over West Virginia 2 Fridays ago. In fact, he is 33-13-1 with triple-year wager releases in all sports during his 35-year career, including 8-1 in college basketball. Last year at this time, championship game, triple-year wager winner, North Carolina over Gonzaga. You got that play as half price. This play is half price once again as he goes for winning day. Number 13 out of 17 on the short haul. And in the past 16 days, he's made $1 bettors a little over $14,700. And keep in mind, over the past 492 days, he's made those same $1 bettors a little over $70,000. Half price play of the day by using coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. I know personally at the beginning of the tournament, man, I could not put together, hell, I couldn't find one winning day. Forget about putting together 2 straight winning days. And I had a great February. A great end of January, a great start to the beginning of March in college basketball, and you know it. I mean, I had those 5 straight winning weeks in college basketball and in the NBA, but it mainly was all in college basketball. And then the college conference tournaments, and then the beginning of the big dance. Let me just remind you of my worst play of the entire season, Virginia against Maryland-Baltimore County. Yes, worst play of the entire year. But here then, suddenly, the tournament starts compressing, and I'm on a roll. 5 straight winners, going for number 6 in a row tonight, and that's the way you like to end the season. Let's talk about this game from a totals perspective. The latest number on this one, we are sitting here at the Alamo Dome right around 144.5, 145. So I look at Michigan, and if you look at KenPom.com, they are number 3 in terms of total adjusted defensive efficiency. Deficiency, I was going to say. Adjusted defensive efficiency. Well, you know, Texas Tech is number 4 in that same exact category. And Villanova scored 71 points against Texas Tech in their matchup a couple of weekends ago. And that was a game where I had Villanova that day. And yet Villanova, I thought, was going to struggle because they were coming off a huge game against West Virginia less than 48 hours earlier. And it was an exhausting effort against West Virginia because of the way West Virginia pressed you up and down the floor. So I wasn't surprised that Villanova struggled. They were really struggling from three-point range, which is their bread and butter, only 4 for 24 in that game. They only shot 33%, and they only put 71 points on the board. So I asked myself tonight, now you've got Michigan, which is, again, ranked number 3, and Texas Tech was number 4 in the KenPom defensive stats. A Michigan team that gives up about 63.5 points a game on the season. Number 5 points per game, field goal defense, points per game defense in the country. Led the Big Ten in defense, scoring defense this year. But Michigan hasn't played anybody with the offensive diversity that Villanova is going to bring to the table tonight. Because Villanova not only has the 6 double-digit scores, not only has the bevy of great three-point shooters, the guys that average 11.6 three-pointers per game over the course of the season, but have even been more deadly from three-point range here in the postseason. Because, remember, 18 for 40 from three-point land against Kansas. 13 for 24 versus West Virginia, 17 for 41 against Alabama, 14 for 27 against Radford. The only bad game from the perimeter they had was against Texas Tech. Villanova's MO is they're going to shoot those three-pointers no matter what, but Villanova can also work the ball inside. They can go and drive the lane because they've got the best point guard, I feel, in the country in Jalen Brunson. Okay, so what's Michigan going to do? Well, Michigan clanks three-pointers like crazy. A team that shot 35% during the regular season, shooting about 32% here in the postseason, and was only at a 25% clip against Loyola Chicago. Do the Wolverines return to norm here tonight and get a little more efficient from the perimeter? Well, these are all things that obviously are factored into the pricing of this game in terms of the total. Are you going to have a Michigan team that's going to be playing a little tight here in the national title game? Always a chance. You have a Villanova team that has 6 guys that were still around from the title team of 2 years ago, so experience certainly is factored in on the Wildcat side. You also have a Villanova team that basically cruised. You jump out to a 22-4 lead against Kansas, you don't have to play that hard in your semifinal game. You have a Michigan team that only scored 22 points in the first half against Loyola Chicago and, had to have a terrific collapse by Loyola in order to come back in the second half to win that one by double digits, right? If you look at the final score, you go, oh, Michigan dominated, but we both know it was because of the 17 turnovers by the Ramblers that led to 22 points for the Wolverines that allowed them to come back and cover that game, as I gave you Michigan as the free play on Saturday. So when I factor in all those things, the bottom line is this. I go to myself, can Villanova score at least 71 points like they did against Texas Tech? Yeah, I do think so. Is Villanova going to be able to accelerate the tempo like they like to do? Now, this is not a team that's going to fly up and down the floor. Their tempo, according to Ken Palm, is somewhere around like 160 so in the nation among 350 some Division I teams. But that is more than what Michigan is accustomed to playing. So Michigan's going to have to get out there and run the floor a little bit with Villanova. The key here is Villanova going to be able to stop Michigan offensively, and can Michigan get anything done offensively? So when I look at this game, again, can Villanova score at least 71 points like they did against Texas Tech? I say yes. Can Michigan do something better than they did against Loyola offensively? Can they at least show some offensive efficiency like they did against Texas A&M? You got to think that there's something in between there. How poorly they played offensively against Loyola, how well they played offensively against Texas A&M. That's what leads me to believe that this game can sneak over the posted price of that 145. So over is the way I'm going to go. In terms of your baseball free selection, I'm going to play the Houston Astros minus the 115 to 120, laying the 1.5 runs in their home opener today. Going against Baltimore and Chris Tillman. I like the fact that Charlie Morton's going to be your number 5 starter, the hero of the postseason for them in many regards. Other than that guy, Justin Verlander, of course. Personal best last year with 14 wins, 163 strikeouts, 26.4% strikeout rate last year. His velocity increased in his year 33 season. His Ks were up because he relied more on his curveball. 10-3 and 16 starts at Minute Maid Park with a 3.34 earned run average. The number I really look at, though, however, in those starts, 78 hits allowed in 97 innings with 106 strikeouts. Chris Tillman, listen, the number I look at him, the last 3 years, opponents have batted a robust 271 against him. 637 base runners allowed in 438 innings in the 3 years. And a guy that allows that many base runners, you better get a lot of strikeouts. He doesn't. Only 323 strikeouts in that 3-year stretch. 1-7 with a 7.84 earned run average last year. 4.05 ERA and 7 career starts against the Astros, who started the season by winning 3 of 4 at Texas, scoring 15 runs the past 2 days. Of course, the Orioles shut out yesterday by Minnesota, lost 2 out of 3 at home to the Twins, only scored 5 runs in the series. By the way, the Astros scored 17 runs the past 2 days. That's why I'm willing to lay the 1.5 runs to get the reduced price with Houston minus 115 to 120 on the run line as your other complimentary play. And truth be told, guys, listen, I like the Astros as the better of the 2 free plays tonight over the over in the Villanova contest. That's it. Good luck. Talk to you again tomorrow.